Hey everyone, today I've got a newly released keyboard from Keychron. This is the RGB aluminum frame K8 with Gateron brown switches. What makes this board unique is that it's Keychron's first standard profile 10 keyless board. Keychron's K1 does have a 10 keyless layout, but it only comes with Gateron low profile switches. The K1's also currently sold out on the Keychron website, so this is now your only option when it comes to a 10 keyless Keychron board. For those of you that don't know, a 10 keyless board is essentially a full-sized board, but without the numpad on the right. The standard K8 comes with only white backlight and an all-plastic body. You can also upgrade the backlight to have RGB support, as well as add an aluminum frame around the edge of the board for a little bit more of a premium look, which is the configuration that I have here. In terms of switches, you can get Keychron's own optical switches in linear, clicky, or tactile, or Gateron switches in the same variants. This board has the Gateron browns, which are the quote-unquote tactile version. Additionally, you have the option to make the board hot swappable, meaning you can just pop the switches on and off without having to worry about soldering or desoldering. They just clip into the board and will have a little bit of a friction fit. This is really convenient if you plan on swapping out your switches in the future. In terms of functionality, this board's extremely versatile. On the side, you have switches that let you choose whether you want a wired connection or a Bluetooth connection for a much cleaner look, which is a really rare feature for mechanical keyboards these days. There's also support for Windows and Mac, along with their associated mobile operating systems, which means you won't have to worry about remapping any of your function keys. However, since Keychron wanted to have everything all in one spot, that means the USB port is also on the side of the board, which is really inconvenient if you want to use this in wired mode. One thing that I don't like about this board is that it has this really hollow sound because of how much empty space there is on the inside. So I decided to add in some foam to try and remove the hollowness and give it a more solid sound, as well as going and lubing the switches. This empty space also really contributes to how crazily tall this board is. My recommendation is to use this board without the feet because it just becomes too uncomfortable to type on otherwise. You can see how much taller it is here than my drop control high profile. To open up the board, you first have to remove the keycaps and switches, then unscrew the 11 Phillips head screws holding the metal plate on, as well as the 4 hex screws holding on the aluminum side frames to the body. The top and bottom frames can just slide off once the 2 side frames have been removed. It makes it much easier to pop off the switches if you don't have the aluminum side frames in your way, so I definitely recommend removing those first. After opening up the case, disconnecting the battery, and removing the PCB, you can see there's a ton of empty space. The PCB itself rests on the little wings on the side of the screw posts, meaning there's an entire ½ inch of unused height on this board. The small ridges along the bottom are about 1/8 of an inch tall, so I'm going to cut up some neoprene foam to fit into all of those boxes. For the remaining 3/8 of an inch of space, the packing foam that came in the box is actually the perfect thickness. So I'm just going to cut that up, making sure to leave a cutout for the wire that connects the battery to the PCB. When putting the PCB back in place, there's going to be a small amount of bowing, but that shouldn't be a problem and should be fixed once the plate gets screwed on. Also, be sure the small control switches on the side line up with the switches on the outside of the case. After fully reassembling the board, let's hear what the board sounded like before adding the foam and lubing the switches versus after. Overall, I think this board offers tremendous value and is a great entry into the world of mechanical keyboards. The version I have here costs $100, but if you don't care about RGB, Hotswap functionality, or an aluminum frame, then the board gets as low as $70. One really nice touch is that they factory lube the stabilizers, so you won't get that rattle that you normally get in a lot of stock boards. The only downsides of this board, in my opinion, are the large amounts of empty space on the inside of the board, the overall height of the board, and having the USB-C port on the side. However, these are all just small details that have easy solutions, such as adding some foam, using a wrist rest, or only using it in Bluetooth mode. I definitely recommend this board to anyone who's just getting into mechanical keyboards and is also on a budget.